Hey everybody, welcome back to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric. Up on the bar for today, a Canadian whiskey, 40 Creek Copper Pot Reserve. As always, here on the channel, nose taste finish review of this whiskey coming your way. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, leave you with the malt musing. But first, if you've yet to take a second, smash that subscription button. That'll make sure you don't miss any of these reviews. I drop them every single Friday here on YouTube, as well as a happy hour live stream every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So 40 Creek Copper Pot Reserve comes out of the 40 Creek Distillery, as is embossed here on the bottle. They are located in Ontario, Canada. The interesting thing about this whiskey, other than the fact that they don't tell you much about it here on the bottle. They don't tell you if it is chill filter natural color. They don't tell you what the mash bill is. They don't tell you what it's aged in, really, et cetera, et cetera. But it is blended. And unlike with American, well, a lot of American whiskeys, which you would take your rye, your barley, your corn, your wheat, and you would throw it all together and ferment it together. They actually do it all separately with this bottling. So if you think they had a barrel of rye, a barrel of barley, and a barrel of corn whiskey, after it had aged for an unspecified amount of time, they blend it all together. So a little bit of a different approach here. It is bottled at 43%. As I mentioned, unclear if it has natural color or has been chill filtered. We just double check. Anyways, here is the bottle. All right. So this is, like I said, a Canadian whiskey coming out of Ontario. Let's give it a try. Screw top. Usually not a great sign. We will withhold judgment. That is the potentially unnatural color, but it might be natural. Who knows? They don't tell us. Despite being able to find out that information about the way that this was blended online, I could not find any info about color or chill filtration. Okay, here we go with the nose. Very sweet. The first thing that I want to say this smells like off the nose is Kahlua liqueur, which is like caramel rum liqueur, or pardon me, coffee rum liqueur. If you've ever had that before, that's what this smells like. It's got a bit of an amaretto kind of almond liqueur note, caramel, toffee, peanut butter, like peanut brittle or something like that. Some hints of apple and brown sugar. So a very caramely, spicy nose here. Slight alcohol burn too. Okay, taste it. Medium viscosity, but full flavor. It's dark, it's sticky, toffee, butterscotch, cinnamon, oak spice, dark chocolate to some degree. And then you get a nice hit, again, of like this cinnamon, maybe a little bit of a pepper note. Finish drops off relatively quick. You're left with a little bit of a malted milk ball vanilla note with some hints of maybe, I don't know, hazelnut coffee or something like that. Not bad. Put a little water on it. It is 43% ABV. So we'll just see if anything else comes up with this whiskey. So far, this has been a very kind of dark note, caramel, brown sugar notes. Not much else happening. We can pick up anything else here. The water seems to have muted the nose a little bit. Again, I'm getting that kind of Kahlua brown sugar, peanut butter. There's a slight, yeah, it's almost like a dark rum note. So it's like a hint of maybe a tropical fruit. As before I said it was apple. Maybe it's more like apple cinnamon now. It's there, but it's pretty subtle. Another taste. I'm really trying to see if the palate is going to extend a little bit with the addition of water, and it does seem to be. I'm getting a much more kind of robust roasted coffee bean, chocolate, almond note that's extending that finish. So I think a little water is actually doing good on this. One more taste. You do get that kind of spice hit that borders on almost a sickly sweet and then like an like alcohol bite. That's still there right here with the water. It's actually more pronounced with the water. Okay, so we don't know how old this is, but I will mention as far as the value goes, here in the United States, is this the easiest Canadian whiskey to find? No, but you can find it. It's by no means an exclusive whiskey. If you do run into this, you're going to find this right around that $25 mark, which I think is actually a really solid price point for a whiskey of this quality. I think this is actually punching a little bit above its weight in terms of what you'd expect from a Canadian whiskey, right around that $25 mark. So I'm going to give this a medium high value. Okay. Final thoughts here. Interesting pour. There's a lot to like about this. It's got some depth. It's got robust, full flavor. They have this 43%, so it's not just coming in at 40. I think when you think about the Canadian whiskeys you can really find on the shelf here in the United States, you're talking your, base level Canadian Club, is it like Canadian Mist or Velvet or whatever? This is a much better pour than that and worth the extra money. I think it isn't going to blow your mind by any stretch. I could see this being potentially decent as a mixer in a cocktail as well, but perfectly fine neat if you're looking for kind of a dark, heavy, rich whiskey. That's not going to break your bank. I think this hits all the marks on that. There's nothing really flashy and fancy about it. It's an interesting way that they do the maturation, as I mentioned earlier, how they do all the different grains separately for the fermentation and then blend it together. It's tough for me to really tell if this, what the actual difference is in terms of the whiskey. Maybe it is imparting a more rich, heavy flavor than you would get if you did it all together. Unsure. But I will say 40 Creek Copper Pot, totally serviceable whiskey. Not a bad one to add to your collection if you're looking for something a little different and something that's not going to break the bank, but be a solid sipper. I could really see this being a nice kind of winter warmer. I'm going to give this just a solid 3 out of 5. I think that this is worth picking up and definitely worth trying. Grab it if you find it at a good price. I wouldn't go over $30 for something like this, maybe not even over 27, 25 for that matter. But it's better than you may think initially. And for those in the United States who are used to and accustomed to not finding the highest quality Canadian whiskeys on the shelf, keep your eyes out for this 40 Creek Copper Pot Reserve. Okay, so 3 out of 5, that's the score here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this dram, and with that, I'll kick you to your malt musing. I will catch you all next week here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. Excellent.